Sit back, relax a little bit. Let me tell you a story. See if yours is anything like mine. Remember when I was a kid? So much better when I popped the lid. Feel the rabble, open it up.
Exactly, listen to Shawnee. Right, and Cash App's the easy way to get money transferred when y'all with friends. So jump into that and then we'll get back to it.
He said, baby, jump in the back, boy. Tailgate crazy.
Jump on in the back, guys. We are going tailgate crazy today. Welcome back for another exciting episode of Fantasy Reports on Shady Sports Network. As always, I'm your bus driver, LaCedric Green, and then I got my guy, Justin, with me. What up, Justin?
Not a whole lot. Ready to break open some of this news that just broke before we got live and really get this week kicked off right.
Get this party started, right, as they would say, or as maybe they said back in the day. I don't know. I don't want to expose.
We don't know what
my
the kids
age
talk
on
about
it.
anymore. I don't have that riz.
Great. I don't want to expose my age. But as you guys that are on, you may have seen, we got some exciting stuff. We got Justin, another one of his tier rankings. We got his top 3 tiers for wide receivers, top 25 wide receivers. As he said, we got some news breaking. We'll be talking about that Diggs and Russell Wilson news, Stephon Diggs and Russell Wilson news. And then over in basketball, we'll be talking the Nuggets and Timberwolves as we always do. So we're getting in some good stuff for you guys tonight. So I hope you're ready. I got your seatbelt on, got your helmet on, because we're going wild tonight. We're doing donuts in the parking lot.
Yeah, it'll be a spicy list, and a lot of you might not agree with it. Others might think it's a little hot and wild, but overall, it's my way too early rankings. And see what you guys think. Let me know in the chat if you are so inclined.
Right? Let us know, and we would love to hear your thoughts, even if you do love the list.
Even post your top whatever in the chat. We'd like to see it. Like to bounce, compare.
Yeah, we'll get it up here on the screen and everything. So get it in there. Let us know what it is. Mike, I hope you're watching. You always get down with the get down, and you got something for us. But all you other guys, like Sam said, hit that like button, hit that share button, rock with us, and we're gonna get you going tonight. We got some good stuff for you. So I hope you guys are ready. As we do, we're gonna get that promo in first, and then we'll be right back.
All right.
Yes, y'all, and you don't stop. So, Justin, my man, you're always doing these tiers instead of the rankings. And
I don't know. I think it's a lot more interesting. I mean, everyone does their numbers and their rankings and whatnot. And I like to give a little bit more, I don't know, more of like a consensus pool to this than just 1 through 10 up and down kind of list. Kind of give guys in groups, because when you're drafting in fantasy football, you're not always getting the top one or the bottom one. You're kind of getting these group of guys in the same sort of area of the draft. So, yeah, that's how I come up with my my stuff. I think it's a little bit unique. I mean, it's different, but I think I try to keep it to as structured as possible.
No, I hear you there. And it's true. And especially this time of the year, right? Everything's fluid. You never know. Like, tomorrow we could have 5 receivers go and get an injury or get traded or do this, do that. We can see receivers drafted and jump over others in the depth chart. So who knows what's going on, man? Right now it's just all.
Do you like to draft wide receivers early in your drafts, or how do you do your drafts?
I do, because I do get all my points from my wide receivers and my quarterback. I hope to get points from my running backs, but I really focus in on my wide receivers, especially nowadays, because I feel like there's a lot of receivers you can go after that are kind of those, what is it? The Swiss Army knives, I guess, so to speak. Yeah. Whereas they are kind of like hybrid running backs, but wide receivers are hybrid tight ends where they're lining up in the super inside slot. You know what I mean? So, like your Puka is lining up all over the place. Your Mike Evans, who can do it all. Just kind of those guys that can. And I guess not Mike Evans. He's not lining up behind well, they actually, I think they were putting Mike Evans kind of behind the quarterback at some points during the season to kind of get him the ball. And then, you'd see a Deebo Samuel and, Marvin Mims coming up and doing roles like that. So I look for a lot of my points from my wide receivers. So I am kind of looking to load up on as many sure-handed wide receivers as I can early.
In the earlier rounds, you're saying, like, overall, like, if you were to choose, like, hey, if I have the choice between a star running back or a star wide receiver, you more so lean towards the wide receiver route on your roster build?
Yeah, I am definitely going to lean more so towards, yeah, just because I feel like with wide receiver, you kind of know, like, especially if they're a name and they're, one of these guys, especially like when you look at your list, your tier 1 guys, like these guys are getting the ball their direction every game that they're playing, they're getting the ball.
And they're getting paid the big money.
Exactly. So it doesn't matter how they're getting the ball, they're going to get the ball. So, and then, especially, in, crazier leagues, weirder formats, IDP leagues, you start seeing, some of these two-way players, maybe even. So you start seeing them rack up a little bit more points, like Travis Hunter, getting some defensive points as well, too. So you may start seeing stuff like that, man. And I just feel like you get a little bit more from wide receiver. Whereas I guess, if you look at running back, you say, hey, running back, you're probably going to they're going to touch the ball for sure and get a couple of yards. But I just feel like with wide receiver, you're more likely to get over 10 yards on a play than you are not.
Yeah, they're more so possible for busting those big plays than a running back.
Yeah, so I don't know. I like
your leagues last year. Were your rosters mainly carried by your wide receiver group, or
totally?
Where was it? Okay.
Yeah, totally was carried by my wide receiver groups, and I kind of I had Joe Burrow in one league, as my quarterback most of the year. I had Pat Mahomes as my backup quarterback, so it wasn't really big on the quarterbacks.
With these quarterbacks too, or with these wide receivers, do you like to, depending on what quarterback it is, do you like to stack the star wide receiver with the quarterback you have on your teams? Do you feel like you get more
points?
You
can, man. If I can get it, I would definitely try to stack my. I would definitely try to not to give away, maybe I guess draft secrets or whatever. It doesn't. I don't care. I don't have any draft secrets.
Hey, I'm fishing around. We got a draft coming up this fall. I need to see where we're going.
Right? No, like if I could get it though, I am definitely gonna try to match my quarterback to my number 1 receiver, and maybe even my number 2 receiver, just because like they're just the same too. It's still gonna stack up, however it stacks up. But if I can get that stack in somewhere, I'm gonna try to. And I'm probably, if I'm going for it, nowadays you can even get your flex player in on the same team too, or get your tight end in on the same team too.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention that, because I've seen some leagues popping up on Sleeper where I shouldn't say where I've seen some buddies of mine on Sleeper and other leagues that have been talking about how they're starting newer leagues and they're implementing a new stacked point system where, like, if you have the quarterback and the tight end, you get a bonus 2 points for a touchdown, a bonus point for a reception for like the tight end and the quarterback connecting. And then same thing with the wide receivers, like the stacked point. I don't know the exact term they're using for it, but like the stacked player point system gives a little bit of a added bonus for constructing your roster like that.
Yeah.
Instead of
I
punishing.
can see that. Definitely. And
it really makes drafts kind of interesting, because you'll see like, the star wide receivers going, then like you'd have to just keep in the back of your head, like, okay, he might be going for that quarterback later on in the round. So I might need to, like, protect myself and grab his quarterback to his star wide receiver so they don't get that extra point.
Yep.
Because there's a number of times last year in my leagues, in a lot of leagues I was in, where I just lost by like a point, half point. It was kind of brutal, but
yeah. Well, and then I was gonna say, especially when you're like, if you're in leagues where you're with friends where you all the same team, like you can't.
I've been can't all be homers, right? They've been drafting with me for like a handful of years now, and they know my secrets, they know my special sauce, and they try to catch me before I can work my magic.
Yeah, right. Especially if you've been together in a league with people for a few years like that, I feel like you do kind of figure out or kind of see what people are going for and what they like, who they like to draft, and especially in redraft leagues, right? Because you're drafting,
Yeah.
you're redrafting every player every year, so you can kind of see somebody's tendencies. Like, oh, okay, so you're going after the same person. You've been riding that tight end for a few years, in the 5th round. Let me go ahead and
for me,
pick
it's like
them up.
funny. They know I'm an Aaron Jones guy. So no matter what round, they know at some point if he's on the board that I'm gonna come snatch him.
And maybe sometimes they might even bait you in with that, right?
Oh, certainly. Yep. Just leave him just juicy sitting there with another nice wide receiver. I'm just like, my head's telling me I should get the wide receiver, but my heart's telling me to go with the champ.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes fantasy more fun, right? It's because you sometimes you do know, hey, maybe I should get this wide receiver, maybe I should get this tight end, but you know what? I really love this running back. My team drafted this guy. I follow this guy. I've been following it. I'm just picking him right now because I can.
Yeah.
Who cares?
For me, like when I'm like towards the front end of drafts, I usually like to go for that star running back. When I'm in the back half of the first round of my draft order, the 6 through 10s or 7 through 12s or whatever, tend to lean like one of these wide receivers in here that we're about to go over. Otherwise, like in the top half of our drafts, it seems to be like just in the past, it's been safer for me to go for one of those like Saquon Barkley's, and Jahmyr Gibbs or Derrick Henry's or those type.
But then those are guys that are guys, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna get points from those dudes. So,
and some of those running backs can be wide receivers as well, as like we've seen Christian McCaffrey in the past, and now
it goes both ways.
And Saquon and Jahmyr.
But that I feel like is more receivers. I feel like there's more receivers that that play multiple roles than there's running backs. Like usually, very special running back.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. They're like a dime a dozen.
Yeah, like you said, there's a CMC. There's a, hey, Javonte Williams was actually the second leading, or he had the second most targets on the Broncos team last season. So, I guess
now he's hanging out with Jerry and the boys down there in Dallas.
Jerry's world. He can have them. They can go.
Good. Did you see they also, even though they got Javonte Williams, they went ahead and signed Miles Sanders?
Yeah, I know. I feel like I posted something about that in the group and fantasy.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Yeah, they're just picking up a plethora of subpar running backs.
Everyone's recycled
average
goods.
Running back room in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't care about Dallas's running room. They used to be it, right? I think they were at when Ezekiel was going off, and then Pollard had his time to look good. But
as of right now, before the draft's going, do you think Dallas or Denver has the better running back room?
Oh man, Dallas. We got McLaughlin.
You don't like Daddy?
Estime.
Or Bidet?
I forgot about if they even bring him back. Is he coming back? Is he
there? Oh man, you guys better bring him back. He just got hurt, unfortunately. He was doing pretty good before he got hurt, right?
Yeah, he did pretty good when he came back too in the playoffs.
Estime just has a fumbling problem.
But they're drafting a running back, and whatever running back they draft, that's who's going to be their number one running back. Hands down, unless that running back, something happens in training camp. Or
if I'm not mistaken, are we like about a month away from the NFL draft?
We are literally a month away from the NFL draft. Well, it's on the 24th, 23rd of April.
It should be a holiday. Just the NFL draft. Make it a holiday. Get the day off of work.
Oh man, that'd be fun. I'd take that. Take that. We should just make it our own holiday. All you guys with us is make the NFL draft first round holiday, half day.
Yeah, it's something.
First couple picks, right? No, but yeah, draft is coming up.
Right into it after this promo break, you think?
Yeah, so I was gonna say let's do a promo here really quick, and then when we come back, we'll get right into tier 3 of your wide receivers and just get it rolling. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. All you new people just jumped in. You're watching Fantasy Reports on Shady Sports Network. I'm your bus driver, LaCedric Green. I got my co-pilot, Justin. And we're just rocking away. We got Justin's wide receiver, his top 25 3-tier list. So we'll be going through that tonight and get into some other news. Right now, we're going to take a promo break, and then we'll come right back, guys. So we'll see you on the other side.
Enjoy.
How are you? Bring them things, bring them things. I call the plug, bring them things. I bring them things.
That's money. That's cash up.
Hey, yo. That's money. That's Cash App.
Use our promo code.
You get $5 off. If you haven't used Cash App before, I guess. If you've used it, then.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But if you haven't, then go check out Cash App. Get $5 off and then send us $5. Buy us a coffee. You don't have to.
Hell yeah.
That'd be really nice, right? Yeah, like Michael said, we're gonna get into this list. And we all need to be validated, Justin. And your ranking.
Hey, I'm just here to help you out. In my perspective, I understand, all the other pundits out there and analysts, people, they have their systems and rankings and formulas and whatnot. So hopefully with mine, what I'm here to provide for you tonight, you take it for a little bit of solace and enjoy it at the same time.
There we go.
It's a little peek behind the curtain of how I work my draft strategy as far as wide receivers go.
There we go. Love it.
And I think when I sent it to you, did I provide numbers or just tiers?
Well, I mean, you put them in order.
Okay, yeah.
But I didn't put the numbers on them. I just
that's okay.
They're in order, the order that you put them from.
Okay. So they are, yeah.
Yeah. So
in case if people need to relate to like where each tier is, like the last guy of tier 3 is 25, and then the first guy in tier 3 is, I think, 17. Something like that. We'll find out. We'll see.
Yeah. I can just tell you right now, actually. I can tell you as we go along, but yeah, I got the numbers right here. I just don't have the numbers on the graphics. So, but yeah, you're right. 17 starts tier 3 and then drops down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, we got your tiers. Feeling good about it. Let's see if
I pass the said test. See if I get the thumbs up this week or.
Right, we put it out to the masses too, so hopefully we get some feedback as well.
Which I always appreciate. Humble me. I appreciate constructive criticism. What you think, what you agree with, don't agree with. Like to hear your thoughts. Feel free to post it up there in chat, guys.
We came to bring the pain, so we want you guys to bring the pain too, right? Let us know what it is, and we'll tell you quickly. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so tier 3 here for the wide receivers, though. My thought process behind this tier is these are the guys that, like, if I invested in a superstar quarterback right away in the first round, or I doubled up at the end of the first round, like I'm drafting at the end of the first round, I doubled up on a running back and a quarterback, just someone that I'm just trying to get there as my wide receiver 1. All these guys on my list, I consider, depending on the size of the league you're in and the point format, that at some point that these guys could be going into your roster for the season as your wide receiver 1. So like that's where the cutoff. So my top 25 is my 25 guys that I would be okay with going into the season as my wide receiver 1.
Okay.
Depending on how I constructed my team in the draft up to this point. But tier 3 is like where I push them farther down in my draft board because I did other needs like a tight end or a quarterback or a running back earlier on, and I'm just trying to grab at least one of these guys here to satisfy that roster spot.
There we go. So here we go. So I got your tier 3 right here. Go ahead and pop it up on the screen. So yeah, we got Justin's tier 3. Number 17, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams, Devonta Smith, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, and Zay Flowers. You got tell us about these guys.
Yeah, so all these guys, they're had solid 2024 seasons. They produced for you. They did above and beyond in your flex spot if you had them there last year, at least at bottom of your roster as far as like at least a wide receiver too. But I feel like with some of them on new teams and, other guys got paid, and then another year of just continuity in that offense with their quarterbacks could have another like tier up into their seasons where like guys like Zay Flowers and Xavier Worthy and T. Higgins and Cortland Sutton, those guys you could be confident and be like, yeah, I'll roll with them as my first wide receiver in my draft. I'll put this guy in my wide receivers one spot, and then I'll start building around them. I like, Devontae Adams going to the Rams with Matt Stafford as his quarterback. I think that's as well as he did with Rodgers last season. I think it could be even better with opposite of Puka with Stafford, because we know that Stafford likes to huck it and chuck it. And then I think with, T. Higgins getting the bag along with his running mate, Jamar Chase, I think he's still going to be a focal point of that Bengals offense and could put up potential wide receiver one numbers. And my one wild card on here is Devonta Smith. It depends on whether the Eagles decide to throw the ball more this year or they continue the formula of the running first mentality. But still, I've seen enough in Devonta Smith in his career and the flashes enough in the bigger games where, like, when he's hot, he's really hot, and he puts up those wide receiver one numbers. I think the one caveat to this tier 3 is going to be how the DK Metcalf, George Pickens thing works out with whoever's throwing them the ball, because they're both arguably going into this season wide receiver ones in their own right for the NFL level. Mm-hmm. And just who's going to feed off the other one more, who's going to get the benefit of the situation. So still, though, I'd be confident they're both talented wide receivers that at least rock them on my wide receiver one spot.
So it sounds like you're saying you could load up your running back room and still come back around in maybe the 3rd and 4th rounds, or maybe the 4th and 5th rounds, and still get a solid 1 and 2 receiver.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it. This is not like these guys are the guys you're taking right away in round 1 or even in round 2. These are the guys you're coming back around after you, invested elsewhere at other positions, and you're just still like, oh, these guys are on the board. I'll throw them in my wide receiver one spot, and then we'll keep building from there. These guys are the guys I'm confident in that if I were to do that I'd be fine rocking with that. Zay Flowers, I think he can have a step up this year. They got DeAndre Hopkins now, and I think that will take targets or coverage off of him and free him up a lot more. And I think that's a good move for Baltimore and for Zay in the sense of that he's going to have a mentor now there in Baltimore, someone to look up to and like talk from and get knowledge and gain, another edge to his game that I don't think the Baltimore Ravens have really had in their wide receiver room as a veteran wide receiver that's been there, done that, and has success elsewhere in the league. And I think to add to Zay Flowers' game, that could really help him this year and maybe take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think Zay Flowers is definitely going to have a step up this year, especially another year in that offense gelling together. I think he's going to have a big step forward. And then, Xavier Worthy over there and
he kind of is the benefactor for me too of what's Kelsey are we going to get this year, and is Rashee Rice's legal problems behind him? Is he going to get suspended? Is he fully healthy? What's the deal? And I think as we saw towards the end of last season and in the playoffs and even the Super Bowl, by just the sheer circumstance of fortune, he was Patrick Mahomes' guy. So if going into 2025, he's going to be the Chiefs wide receiver one due to Rashee Rice not being fully healthy or having legal troubles, then I think still with Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback, he still has the capability of putting up wide receiver one numbers.
Yeah, Definitely, and I think especially on even especially like the left side of this list, maybe take out Cortland Sutton.
You
All these
sure?
guys are no. I'm not saying as far as take them out of the ranks. I'm
Oh,
just saying as
okay.
far as like these other guys are maybe one injury away from another receiver from
Oh,
being
yeah.
the solid number ones in
Mhm.
their teams. You know what I mean? Like Cortland Sutton's already the number one for sure, and
Oh, hell yeah.
in Denver. No matter what happens over the draft, he's still number one. And then, it'll be interesting, like you said, to see what happens with Pickens and Metcalf over there. I mean, Devonta Smith, he could easily be a number one too, depending on how Jalen Hurts throws the ball.
Mhm.
So it just T. Higgins is an injury away from being that go-to guy. So, and we'll see. Jameson Williams was having a solid season with Jared Goff, throughout the year. I felt like so. I really
Mhm.
I like this list. I'd be
I think with
confident.
Jameson Williams is like the high ceiling, like the explosive games that we saw from last year. If they're going to be more frequent this year, and if they're going to be more, the new offensive coordinator really, throws a wrench in things, but also could be a good thing in the sense that where they have actual dedicated plays for Jameson Williams, where I felt that, who used him more of as a gadget player or like a trick play specialist or just like a Swiss Army knife to like surprise defenses where maybe this new offensive coordinator really incorporates him in the playbook and the game plan. And he even has bigger pop-off plays that we could see this year potentially. That's my hope for it. And then for Cortland Sutton, it's mainly I'm a believer. I think that Bo Nix is going to heavily lean on Cortland Sutton again in his second year at quarterback, and he's going to just down in the red zone. I think having Evan Ingram brought in that I know you like from our last show, I think in the red zone, it really puts a little thought in the defense's heads of like, oh, are they going Evans' way or going Cortland's? And that's a good coin toss because last year we saw a lot of Cortland Sutton over the top in the end zone for Bo Nix that he was comfortable throwing it to him. And even so, I still think Cortland Sutton has the gas and the juice to pull off big 60, 70-yard plays if needed because he's got great separation as a wide receiver. And I think that Sean Payton is going to let Bo Nix cook for another year and he's going to be chucking it 30, 40 times. And I like my odds and chances of throwing Cortland Sutton in my lineup for those, big Bronco games because they're in a division where they're going to have to put up a lot of points and they don't have a running game to supplement what they're trying to do. So more often than not, a lot of the benefits could be coming from Cortland Sutton in that offense.
No. Yeah, I totally like that for sure. And I see Cortland Sutton taking a step forward. We already saw it some last year. Him starting to take that step forward in that offense, just having Bo Nix being that active passer that he is. So it'll be interesting. And Mike, we see you.
Let's see Michaels. Yeah, throw it up.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of these guys will be pulling up too. He just wants to see where he stacks up for his dynasty league that he drafted last week. So Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, JJ McMillan, Marvin Mims, and Michael Tolbert. What's his name? Tolbert.
Jalen Tolbert.
Jalen Tolbert.
He was sneaky good last year for the Cowboys as the wide receiver. I think
I don't trust any Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm kind of fading Dallas offense this year. That division is just so much tougher, and I don't know how Dak is going to respond coming off that serious injury. If he lost a step, or he's still going to have it, and I don't know what they're going to try to do. I mean, it seems like they're trying to put interest in the running game by bringing in these running backs, and we'll find out a lot by how they draft this year because they have to invest in the offensive line for sure and help protect Dak, as well as adding more weapons on that offense to keep up with the other offenses in the division.
Yeah.
But no, I like his wide receiver core here. I think Calvin Ridley could be a sneaky good flex wide receiver 3. I think Jerry Jeudy is probably going to be same or similar as last year.
Who's their quarterback, so.
Yeah. And Jalen McMillan, he was really a good step up when Chris Godwin was out last year. And I think he's built up a solid rapport with Baker Mayfield, and they should have a really good connection for production this season going into 2025. I mean, I easily have him in a wide receiver 2 or my wide receiver 3 spot. And then I love the home run ability. I know he's a polarizing wide receiver over there in Denver, but I really like the upside of Marvin Mims because I was on the receiving end last year, no pun intended, of a lot of those big.
Oh yeah, he
like,
had some. He had like
I had him
a
sitting
play
in my
like
flex
every
with
game.
with like 20, 30 points, and I was like, hell yeah. But I also lived and died by that sword with him in the other games too. But with the young quarterback and his breakaway speed ability to like pull off that huge big touchdown like he did in the Cleveland game, that was wild. And like he helped me win some dollars too with some little spot bets there last year. So he's on my good side for right now.
Can't hate on that. More about, and then of course Super Bowl champion AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You got Puka Nacua. Mr. Solid, as long as those guys aren't hurt, right? As long as AJ
Oh
Brown
yes.
isn't hurt, right?
I hope this year for fantasy the injury bug doesn't strike as hard as it did last season.
I don't think it will, man. I feel like it struck so hard last season. I feel like we're gonna get a clean season, and I don't want to, knock on.
Do something.
Yeah, you gotta knock on something over here. I don't want to jinx anything, hopefully, but yeah, because it felt like something every week, right? And then Mike just said he hates the Cowboys. Tolbert was the last option pick, and he is the number 2 right now. He's the number 2 behind.
Yeah, because they lost Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, they haven't drafted
yet.
They haven't drafted yet, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah. I totally agree with him in that spot where you just Tolbert's a throw, and you just gotta hope and pray that you get at least wide receiver 3 numbers out of him this year.
They learn how to use. I think they learn how to use.
Yeah,
I think Sean Payton knows exactly what he's going to do with Mims. I think he's about to bring in another rug burner, a little field stretcher to go on the outside, and then we're going to see Mims do so many gadget plays we won't be able to keep up between him.
Do you think he could be
Broncos
like
are about to have a top? I'm telling you, whoever we bring in from running back, they're going to get all the carry, the majority of the carries. We're going to bring in some wide receivers we can scheme up. And then, man, the things we're about to see with Bo Nix and Evan Ingram's going to be that sure-handed, like that little dump-off option for whenever he has to dump it off 5, 10 yards, get that first. Man, it's going to look so amazing next year. We're probably going to look like the Lions.
I was just about to say, said that I can see Mims fulfilling the Jameson Williams role for the Lions for the Broncos, where he's just, in the backfield, he's on the line of scrimmage, he's streaking down for deep plays. Like, I think Sean Payton and those guys literally learned how to use him to the best of his abilities and his talents. And another year of Bo Nix getting at the NFL level is just he's be more precise, he's gonna be more lethal, and I have Mims personally moving up a lot of my draft boards for fantasy is like one of those like options that I would take him over a Tolbert, a McMillan, a Calvin Ridley, and take a shot on him in my 3rd or 4th wide receiver.
I like it.
But unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the list.
Oh,
we got
man.
one Broncos wide receiver though.
Oh man, we got Sutton up there. Of course, Sutton made the list.
I thought you'd like that. I figured I'd get some brownie points too for.
Can't keep Sutton off. But hey, let's keep this bus rolling, guys. We're rolling. We're swerving around the block, swerving. So hey, let's take a promo break really quick, and then when we come back, we'll get back to the rest of these tiers and maybe talk a little bit about Diggs going to the Patriots. See your thoughts on that, Justin.
Get a little palate cleanser. Just let it digest those players.
Yeah, Mike. Well, how do you feel about Diggs going to the Patriots? Let us know in the comments. Let me see. How do you feel about?
Yeah, we'll get into the numbers and the terms of the deal and see if how it works out for the Patriots.
Oh, I think it worked out for Drake May. We'll talk about that on the other side.
Yeah. Stay tuned, guys. In the meantime, enjoy the ad, and we'll catch you on the other side.
Oh yeah.
My name is Anton Popoff, and this is my 6th year of college football. Training during the hottest times of the day is a recipe for muscle cramps, which is why electrolytes are so important. Hydration is crucial for my performance. Dragon Salt eliminates muscle cramps and boosts your overall energy level. Whether it's a weight room or field session, I fuel up with Dragon Salt beforehand. It's been a game changer for me, and it'll be a game changer for you.
Dragon Salt. It's been
Dragon
a game
Salt.
changer for him, and it'll be a game changer for you. drgnsalt.com. Use a code, guys. Get 10% off of it. Yeah, so we did see, I think that just happened today, like not even 3 hours ago.
I think it was it earlier today?
Was it earlier today? Oh, Russ was like, wait, I don't know. I was just behind all day today. But I guess, hold on, I got it right here. Oh, it's at 7 Eastern time. So I think that was like 5. So like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours ago. Not too long ago. But yeah, Stephon Diggs, 4-time Pro Bowl receiver, he reached an agreement with the New England Patriots on a 3-year, $69 million deal that includes $26 million guaranteed. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Do you feel at that age and with his health that was an overpay on the Patriots, or do you think there'll be something that will pay off for them long term and he'll fulfill that deal?
Oh, there you go, right there, right? Man, it's like Mike said, Diggs is kind of is not the guy he was even at Buffalo, right? So,
are you fading him in your draft boards then? You gotta not high on him?
I definitely take him as I take him as a wide receiver 2 or a flex for sure. Okay. I got no problem if I see him there. I'm picking him up, especially him going to the Patriots. He'll be probably their number 1 receiver. I think he'll probably be their number 1.
So you think this hurts Keyshawn Butte, Jalen Polk, Javon Baker, Demario Douglas, all those guys? You probably drop down on your boards for fantasy, kind of avoid those guys?
Because you kind of see, I think you're going to kind of see, in my opinion at least, I don't know, this is what I feel from fantasy, he's going to, this deal says he's going to command targets. He's going to command red zone. He wants the touchdowns. And it's going to kind of, maybe I feel like we're going to kind of see what we were seeing over in Houston before he got hurt, where maybe he wasn't getting those big name plays, those other guys can get those field stretches, but once they got down there in the red zone, we would see Stephon Diggs step up. He was having 1 to 3 touchdowns a game. What was he? So he was 7th in the NFL in catches with 47 catches. Before he got hurt, yeah, and 2nd in the Texans with 496 yards. So.
He was doing all right. He was doing fine. He was sitting in my, I think, wide receiver 2 or flex spot. Like you're saying, that's where I had him.
But you were seeing him too a lot of the time. You were seeing there was nothing happening, and boom, he gets 6-7 points right there in one drive. So,
my early initial thoughts here, as far as the Patriots go, I think this does help Drake May. I think this is another good weapon for him to have. It gives him more production fantasy wise, because you can, as long as he stays healthy, you can have a solid floor with Drake May now at the quarterback position for fantasy. He's probably going to be a solid at least quarterback 2 for you to have behind one of your star quarterbacks you draft in earlier rounds. Still a quarterback that I probably would be invested in as my backup if I waited long enough in drafts. And as far as Stephon Diggs goes, I think on paper you treat him as the wide receiver 1 in New England, and I think that he'll command those targets like you said. And I think early on in the season he might not get that production right away. It'll be a slow burn or a late bloomer. You might have to find that out, a few weeks in when he finally gets like a full rapport and a full chemistry with Drake May and those other receiving options. But on paper I think it's right now it's Diggs, Douglas, Butte, Polk, and Baker, like as far as the receiving options in that order. And not to forget about Hunter Henry over there still too. He was a good safety blanket for Drake May, but he wasn't a thrilling tight end option. He was more like a tight end 2. He's a bye week fill-in injury replacement. He's kind of an older tight end with just red zone potential. I think for 3 years though, I think if he stays healthy, he'll probably be adequate for that deal for them. Hopefully he earns his keep there for what they're paying him. And I think it'll be good for building Drake May's confidence and his just overall production there in New England, having that established in the past wide receiver 1 truly there to throw to.
Yeah, did where did Chris?
And I think too, Michael's saying here they picked up Mac Hollins as the wide receiver 3. So I forgot about that. So adding him to the core, I think, because he was very, very effective for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills as just a third down saver or like a chuck it pray guy that was on the receiving end, a lot of like prayer balls from Josh Allen that worked out for us in fantasy. So I think I like how Vrabel's building this offense. I can see his vision he's got. I think in the draft, the Patriots will most likely draft on defensive side of the ball, having a defensive coach try and take that pressure, that ease off of Drake May and the offense relying on them to like score so many points to keep them in games. I think they'll invest in defense earlier on and then probably give up some supplemental players, maybe a running back later on in the draft because it's so deep at that position. Overall, I think it's a good fit. I don't know anywhere else that Stephon Diggs would have remotely gotten that much money to play.
No.
So I think this is probably his last stop, though, I would say. Like, if it doesn't work out here in New England, I think for especially fantasy purposes, it's probably done, the end of the road. I mean, let's see how he bounces back from that injury. It was a serious enough ACL where he's been out so long. But one of the caveats to this deal said was that he passed the physical. So he's recovering on schedule, if not better, and he looks to be good to go going into training camp this year.
Yeah. But, I mean, it has to be something to be said, though, that Houston didn't want to re-sign him, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting because Tank Dell is looking like he might miss the entire 2025, season. And I think they just have Nico Collins, Xavier Hutchinson, and Dalton Schultz.
Well, didn't they just sign someone?
Oh, and Christian Kirk, yes.
Christian Kirk. So they have Christian Kirk.
I think honestly, at his point in his career, I'd probably take Christian Kirk on the Houston Texans over Stephon Diggs with the Patriots.
Dang. Whoa. Well, yeah, and then you look at the status too. Christian Kirk's probably.
I thought you were gonna almost say hot take there. I thought it was coming.
No, because then I was like, well, you look at it, but I mean, who knows what we're gonna get from the Patriots? Honestly, I mean, we did get to see almost a half season of Drake May, but we didn't get to see. I think we're gonna see a solid Drake May 2 coming out. They're kind of like the poor man's Commanders team. What they're building over there. So we'll see.
Don't let Michael he's saying that.
Right. We'll see what the Patriots got going on over there.
Yeah.
For sure. But hey, let's take a promo really quick and then get back to these tiers.
Oh, cool.
We got tier 2 going on. So we'll take this promo, and then we'll get back into your tiers and go from there. Tune in, guys. Thanks for rocking with us. All you new guys that just tune in, it's Fantasy Reports on Shady Sports Network. We're rolling, man. We just hit that corner. We're riding.
Thank you, everyone, tuning in. Stick with us.
There we go. Stick with us. Ooh, it's a good one. Yes, y'all. Thanks for rocking in with us. We're just going through Justin's top 25 or his 3-tier rankings of the wide receivers. His must start. Well, you said wide receiver. So I guess must start wide receiver.
Yeah, these are my wide receiver ones. These are my guys that I'm going for in drafts and throwing them in there and feeling confident doing so. If I will depend on however my draft strategy goes.
So with your tier 2, what puts your guys in tier 2 over to tier 2?
These are bottom of the second round. These are like guys I would probably stack if I'm at the end of my draft order to like pair up with another pick right away. Or these are guys that I could see that I have, depending on my roster build up to that point, a sneaky high ceiling wide receiver plays. These are the guys that they're not quite superstars. They're not quite like, oh my God, elite wide receivers that are going to give me those, solid, consistent points. But these guys here can at least provide you with the comfort of on Sundays or Mondays, whenever, going into your matchups are like, yeah, I can see the outcome that these guys can sway my matchup. They can move my matchup this week and give me a real boost in my lineup to give me a cushion if other places in my roster decide to slip up, like a tight end or your kicker or defense or whatever, that these guys can make up for those points.
Okay. I like it. Hey,
hello, beautiful bearded.
Bearded bastards. Yeah, I gotta get my beard back. Get the beard game back up. See Justin out here rocking all nice. We'll get there. But yeah, shout out. Hey, thanks for watching, beautiful bearded bastard. Don't forget to hit that like button and please share. Just putting up Justin's tier 2. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get it popped up on the board and let you talk about it there, Justin.
Hell yeah.
There we go. Your tier 2. So Justin's tier 2 and his top 25 wide receiver list. And that number, it is at number 9. So number 9, Drake London. Number 10, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Number 11, Ladd McConkey. 12, Tyreek Hill. 13, AJ Brown. 14, Mike Evans. 15, Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry. And 16, Garrett Wilson.
Heck yeah.
Solid list, man.
Yeah, I got Garrett Wilson rounding out the back half of it. I think the Justin Fields addition for the Jets isn't too far of a drop off from Rodgers, and I think he's got no real wide receiver competition again now that Devontae Adams has left town, and I trust in Aaron Glenn and that coaching staff to get that offense humming and get it to their playmakers. Find out who, in the past has worked for them and put points on the board and has kept their offenses in games, and that's Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. So I think, rounding out the bottom half of this tier, like, he's still a guy that you got to keep on your radar this season, and you're not necessarily hoping he gets your superstar wide, elite top of the first round production like the other guys up in the tier 1, but still, if you're rocking with him as your wide receiver 1, early second round, bottom half of your first round, depending on where you're picking, I'm confident rocking with that. But I have him where he's at because these other guys like Terry and Mike Evans and AJ Brown have just been doing it for a while longer and more consistently. That they're going to just stay. They're just consistent. They're those guys you just fire them up and forget about it. Like, you don't have to question it all that much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm with Mike.
Ooh, hot take for Michael. What do you think, Sad? Where are you at with Tyreek?
I'm not
Michael,
I'm
to be fully transparent with you, I was contemplating that, but I wanted to think that last year was just one off. It was just one of many. It isn't going to happen again. I don't think it's going to happen that bad. As long as Tua stays healthy, like I can see the reality though that he could fall to tier 3 this year for sure. But as of right now, I think he's what the Dolphins have, and they have to use him. And I don't think he's going to want to go out like how he did last year. I think he's going to be on a redemption tour, and he could be a really sneaky value in tier 2 for fantasy. I can see him in drafts and draft boards sliding down a little bit, and if you're smart and wise with your roster build, you can fully take advantage of that and probably like stack him with, like, I don't know how you would feel set at the bottom of your second round. How would you feel of having your wide receivers be Terry McLaurin and Tyreek Hill, or Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill, or AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill? Like, I think that'd be a dangerous wide receiver room in my opinion.
Maybe the only one would be Mike Evans and Tyreek Hill. AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill, I feel like that would give me a heart attack.
That's too much.
Terry and Tyreek Hill, especially with Terry having Debo on the other side right now. I just don't know. There were some games where it's just like, where is Scary Terry, man? Where are we points at?
And I like what you're saying there, Michael, too, because I need him
Tyreek,
as well.
I'd probably rock with it.
In dynasty leagues, he is a buy for me. I mean, if you can get him at a good affordable price, I would pursue him in dynasty. If you're a contender, not a rebuilder,
Isn't he retiring soon?
That's my concept here, is that you, as a true contender for the ship, he's somebody that if you can invest for in the right price and get him at the right value, I would put him into my wide receiver room to go make a run at the ship this year. But if I'm a rebuilder, I'm staying away from him. I'm selling him, get what value I can out of him. Not to say when I say that, I want to sell him because he's bad. It's just if you're a rebuilder, you're trying to build assets and capital elsewhere so you can build your team back up because Tyreek Hill isn't going to be winning you a
buying him?
championship.
Who's gonna buy him though?
Those contender teams, those teams that are one player away, like at the very minimum, if you can get them at the right price, you're throwing Tyreek Hill in your wide receiver 2 or flex spot in dynasty leagues, and I'm comfortable with that for a year or two of him, however long he may be. But in redrafts, I think he's still at just the tail end. Like these are your tail end wide receiver ones here, your guys that you can stack with one of those elite ones if you decide to double up in the early rounds. And I'm comfortable with the production you can get on. We're doing that.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel you.
But I can totally see a world too where Terry McLaurin outscores Tyreek Hill this year. Because it just that's how I feel about it. And like Ladd McConkey and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Drake London, like these young guns, they're looking to push for that tier 1 elite status, and they've all got good solid quarterbacks. Well, Drake London with Michael Penix is still to be determined, but I think Sam Darnold is competent enough, and with Jackson Smith and Jigba being the wide receiver 1 now, the alpha there, Darnold having his experience with Justin Jefferson and that alpha that he knows to get the ball to the guy that's the best player on the team on offense. Mm-hmm. And Justin Herbert, same wise with Ladd McConkey. These are all guys that, like, if you want to invest in that running back, that superstar quarterback in your first round, you come back and get these guys in the second round, I think that's totally fine. I think it'll be just fine on your roster.
Yeah. I feel you. I just stay away from guys like AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill and Garrett Wilson. They're just not my guys.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I mean, to each their own. I mean, would you say that you would tier those guys into tier 3?
No, I'd probably still keep them there. I just wouldn't draft them.
Okay. So you wouldn't bring up anybody from tier 3 up into this tier for those guys?
No, I'm probably just looking at like other directions, like probably looking at my running back and getting my tight end if those are the guys at the top.
Okay.
When it comes to my time to draft at that. So like probably like third, second, third round. And these guys. Yeah. I'd be looking at them.
I think the perfect comp for these guys is these are guys you're not reaching for, but if they fall to you at value in your drafts, you're comfortable getting. Is that kind of makes, like, if you were to go for a running back or quarterback instead, and these guys fall to you later on, you'd be more fine taking.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'd be apt to go out and get other positions.
Okay. Yeah. Who do you think out of this group has the best season out of this tier?
Ladd. I can see Ladd McConkey having a Puka Nacua type season. Yeah.
We're all on the same page, yeah. I say Ladd.
Yeah. I definitely feel, I think we're all on the same page with that one.
So out of this tier 2, like any of the guy that I would go out and get, if I was zealous for, I would be taking Ladd.
Yeah, probably so. Maybe Mike Evans, Drake London. They'd come probably be Ladd. My opinion would be Ladd. You and Drake
have a history.
Yeah, Drake London would be probably tied for 2. With Mike Evans, just because Mike Evans is Mr. Consistent, he's gonna get it. Jackson, we'll see. I mean, he has to compete with Cooper Kupp now. That's Kupp's team now. So
you think so? Do you think Kupp eats into his production, or do you think he helps Jackson get freed up and have a little bit more?
I think that's Kupp's team. Send him out in farewell with some big numbers. Stick it to the Rams.
He is from the Washington area. He went to school out there.
Yeah, he went to school like less than 200 miles away or something like that. So
and by no means do I think Kupp is completely done and is out of juice. I think he'll have wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 like numbers. I don't think his elite, Super Bowl MVP, like Triple Crown winning days are still around. I think he's still, though, a very competent and viable wide receiver option for you in later rounds.
Makes sense.
Because I feel like he's going to drop and he's going to drop hard, and that's where you can get him at value. And like if you say you have one of these other guys in your 1-2 spot, and then if you're rolling into the season with Cooper Kupp in your flex, I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think really the only thing that held him down last year was his injuries, right? And then you see
So for you in this draft so far, like if you were to take Ladd McConkey and then get Cortland Sutton as your wide receiver 2, and then having Cooper Kupp as your your flex or your 3, I mean, I think that's a solid wide receiver room.
Yeah, that's kind of a set it and forget it wide receiver room right there. The only thing you're worried about is making sure they don't all have the same bye weeks. Other than that, you're good to go.
Oh, the dreaded. Oh, yeah. That's always fun. If it's not the injury bug, the bye week, you look at your team. Okay, so I was curious on your like league etiquette or team roster management like criteria. Like if you have a team that's like heavily same bye week, do you like just let the week roll out and take the L kind of, so to speak, or do you try to make moves to get that win and work around those buys, even if that means you have to like trade a player you don't want to or drop.
I'm not trading away players I don't want to. I'm seeing if there's moves I can make. If there's a move here and there that I can make that'll make a difference, then I'll do it. But like if it's like more than like 3 or 4 players on buy, I'm probably not gonna win that week anyway. So
you'd rather eat the L because you're not necessarily throwing. You're just because you don't see it as throwing. You're just eating the L that week and
because I'm not getting rid of my players. I'm probably throwing more players away if we're doing that, right? So nah, I'm good. That's what I'll just watch out for though. And that's where you can get messed up when you go stacking players, from the same team. Because then, especially when it's like your quarterback and your wide receiver, because it's like those are
it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, but that's why when you do that though, you're looking to pick up too with the other players that you're drafting. So if you're stacking your quarterback and your wide receiver, well, if I'm stacking my quarterback and my wide receiver, I want my wide receiver 2 to also be a heavy hitter, or I want maybe to try to get the wide receiver 2 from that team to keep on my bench, or maybe another solid. You know what I'm saying? Like not that team, but a solid wide receiver 2 that I can pick up later in the draft and stash away on my bench and keep there. Somebody I know that's going to come in and eat, like a T. Higgins or a McMillan or someone like that I know I can come in and just have right there and slide in my wide receiver 1 when I go on by. You know what I mean? And then I'm probably getting a quarterback. I'm probably going to stash a quarterback too, quite honestly.
That's why I think it's cool that more leagues or some leagues are adopting this concept. If you like do that, the stacking where you're biting that bye week bullet, like they're giving you get bonus points for, when those players perform. So, it's kind of a trade-off. Eat the bye week, but rest of the season, you're, doubling up on points potentially if your players do well.
Right, so you got to lose a week anyway. So hopefully, hopefully those bye weeks.
I don't know how many times you have. I've never in all my years of playing fantasy football. Now it's been a while now. I've never had the perfect season.
Right, so so you're gonna lose weeks anyway. So hopefully, your bye weeks that you're eating are built into those weeks that you're gonna lose anyway, right? Instead of losing all the other weeks and still losing those bye weeks. Because if you're losing the other weeks and still losing those bye weeks, then it's a lot.
Hey, Fat Boy Yogi, welcome.
Oh,
Skull.
Vikings. There's your.
In the spirit of you joining us, I'll say Skull, but on Sundays there ain't no Skull for me.
Yeah, Skull buffs. Try to make it work to not lose any week, but definitely no trades.
Yeah, see, that's a good strat.
I'm not dropping players that I need in other weeks.
I had to do that a couple times last year where I was like hurting too hard and I had to trade a player. But when I do that, if it's one of those players that I usually get something more in return, like a 2-for-1 or something to balance the scales, so I feel more comfortable about making that move instead of flipping 1-for-1 and being like, I did that just for 1 week.
Yeah, Mike, I saw last season.
Oh, you have seen one, Mike? Oh my gosh, I've never seen a perfect season.
Not a perfect season, no. I went through and dominated though. I think I only had 2 losses last season, 1 or 2 losses.
Hey, if you guys want to challenge Ced and take him on this, we got 2 more spots in the league.
Like that. It's not like that. That's why I got to show. So I
keep the crown off of Ced's head.
Take everybody else's secrets with it, but
yeah.
Yeah, man, it sucks when you go.
What would you rather have, the perfect season and lose the championship, or have like scratching into the playoffs and then winning the
championship? I'd rather win a championship. Who cares about the
Okay.
perfect season? I had the perfect season in fantasy football, but did you win? No. Well, who cares? No one cares.
It's like the NFL, like the division winners really matter if they don't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but it's even worse in fantasy football. No one's coming to re-sign you in 2 years. You did have the perfect fantasy season.
They don't have no contracts.
You know what?
You're
gonna get your buy-in back for the last 2 years just because you didn't have that one per. No, you.
I'm the classic case. The last few years in fantasy, I should just have the sash, but like I just been the bridesmaid. I get to those championship games, but I just can't see it. I can't lock it down.
What the heck, man? Well, maybe this is the season you can lock it down, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. In our league, I'll play you in the championship.
Well, I don't know about our league, but maybe in your other leagues you can get there. No. Well, it'll be good to see. See, guys, speaking of our league, we do got the links in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Our fantasy
I'd plug
league,
that real quick.
Send me a friend request, and then in the basketball league too, we're trying to get that filled up. So join our basketball league.
Fat Boy Yogi and Michael, if you wanna, get in on this, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll just be banter and bragging rights and part of the show for the 2025 season. And we are working on getting something set up though for you guys, for whoever wins, as a type of prize or just a reward for it, regardless.
Yeah, we'll have some swag and some stuff for you guys for sure. So jump in that league and get us kicked off right, and we'll talk about it every week on the show. We'll be previewing the games, reviewing the games, and just discussing that league and building it into the show every week. So it's gonna be great. You gotta do basketball, especially if you get
Michael Jordan comes back. Yeah.
Well, Michael Jordan. Oh, I thought you said LeBron James. Sorry.
What
are you talking about? Michael Jordan comes back. We got
Michael.
We got Bronny out there.
Football league. There's still
we got Bronny James out there scoring 17 points a game, bro. Like, you don't need Michael Jordan. What are you talking about?
Hey, I had LeBron James, and he did not help me in my playoffs. I got eliminated because he was hurt the week of the playoffs.
He came back though. He should have had Luka.
Yeah, when I'm already eliminated, that's great.
Yeah, should have had Luka, buddy. Should have had Jamal Murray, 39 points the other night.
Oh my gosh! I completely wow.
We know you're there, bro, and I hope you're ready to lose. Just saying.
Hot take.
You heard it here in the air. Hot take. Wait. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. Keep this.
We still have a tier left, guys. We still
got a tier left.
We're building up that suspense. We're building up the hype.
We haven't even talked about Russell Wilson going to New York.
Do you want to cut to a promo first and then get to that, or what do you want to make him wait a little bit longer?
Yeah, let's do that. Make them wait. Make them wait.
All right, guys. So we're gonna do a promo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's cut to the promo. Hope you guys enjoy and use the ad, and then we'll see you on the other side.
Yes, y'all, and you don't stop. Yeah, you're right, Mike. You're right. You do have my first pick in our Dynasty League, Mike. I don't even how we did a trade, right? And then I proceeded to suck the entire season.
Oh,
I proceeded to suck my way to the first pick. Although my team started picking up steam in the last few weeks of the season, so I see promise. And I got 2 first-round picks on the tail end of
just keep bowl even said you'll get there.
Exactly. So I'm gonna flip those 2 picks into a Bo Nix trade, and then I'm gonna flip into an Evan Ingram trade. I think I actually might have Evan Ingram. I think I might have traded away Evan Ingram or dropped him or something. We'll see. I forget. I feel like I had him at some point, somewhere in some team. I hope it was the Dynasty team, but yeah. So Russell Wilson to the Giants. I feel like we were just
What
talking about
are the terms of the deal? Is it a steal for the Giants? Is it an overpay? What do we got here? What are we looking at for numbers?
Yeah, I feel like we were just talking about the Giants the other day. It
Oh
is.
yeah, you got famous Jameis. You got your guy.
So weird. There's a big blockbuster deal though. Oh yeah, he has Evan Ingram. He has.
Sounds like you guys need to work out a deal.
Drop him. I feel like I dropped him some point towards the end of the season because he was not doing good on Jacksonville. Anyway, Russell Wilson signs a 1-year deal worth up to $21 million, including $10.5 million guaranteed.
So who do you think it's going to be, Winston or Wilson? Who's throwing in neighbors? And then does that change your debate then with the whole Fields or Winston? Remember we were talking about that last show?
Huh?
Like who do you think it is? Is it still Winston over Fields, or is it Russ now? Or like remember we were talking about the Jets and Giants?
Man, Russ.
Who would you take out of the three? Fields, Winston, or Wilson?
Fields cannot get away from Wilson, can he? Where
no. Oh God! That's gonna be a primetime game if they're playing each other this year. It's gonna be Giants and Jets and Thursday night or something.
Dang, why did the Giants do that? Why did they pick up Jameis if they're gonna
that's what I'm wondering. Like, so
all this money on old quarterbacks and they still got Danny DeVito, who they don't care about.
Man, he better start packing his bags and making it out to the Italian Football League, which we do here on the network. If you guys so want to check it out and are interested.
Yeah, they got Jameis Winston on a 2-year, $8 million deal. Russ on 1 year. So.
Wait, what's the money though? What's money talks?
Russ is on a 1-year, $21 million deal with 10.
So it sounds like it's gonna be Wilson.
Yeah, they're not paying Jameis Winston $4 million to start over their $10.5 million guaranteed.
Okay, yeah.
But if Jameis comes in and Russell Wilson sucks, or
you think about this. What if it's Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders going into 2025?
That's gonna be the most ridiculous quarterback room I've ever seen. Like, why would you have both those guys and then draft a quarterback?
Can you see it happening though? Them drafting a quarterback, or what do you think?
Giants gonna giant for sure. They're gonna giant.
You definitely think they're going? What do they pick, 3 or 4 or something?
Pick 2? No, they picked 3.
Oh, I thought it was Titans, Browns.
Titans, Browns, I think, and then Giants, right?
Is it Giants?
Giants are 4. Mike, what's their pick? Mike knows.
He knows. We trust Mike. He's our inside source.
Mike will get it to us. But
he thinks we'll draft a quarterback still. Okay.
Ridiculous
all right.
that they would do that. It's so stupid that they would do that.
So, do you think they potentially trade back and acquire capital and get more picks?
Yeah, see, Giants are 3rd.
Giants are 3rd? Okay, thanks, Michael. Thanks.
Who would they trade back with? Oh, let me pull up the draft order and see who's going to trade with the Giants.
Trade back with the Broncos so they can trade up and get Genty from the Raiders.
If we trade up that far, we better take that and then trade that again into some other picks for next year.
You're going to let your division rivals take Genty?
Yeah, they can have them.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, he posted the top 6 or 7 people. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Yeah.
Titans, Browns, Giants, Pats, Jags, Raiders. All right. The Raiders got Geno Smith. They could possibly trade the Giants. Yeah.
So he's on the same page as you. They're not.
No,
they're not.
The Jags. Well, the Jags move up, get a quarterback, and then move on from Trevor Lawrence.
Well, then I would say that they're abandoning Trevor Lawrence. So it's kind of, the combination
Arizona got rid of 2
and having a new offensive coordinator every year has not helped Trevor Lawrence.
Well, Arizona got rid of their first-round pick after 1 season, so. Jets could use a quarterback too, but they got Fields. What are you talking about? Fields made a team. He made whoever signed him promise that he was going to be the starter. They are not drafting a quarterback in the first round.
That would be a Jets thing to do. That'd totally be the Jets thing to do.
Fields would probably just quit the NFL if they did that.
He would go to the IFL or like CFL or UFL or something.
UFL. Yeah. That is wild.
But so Titans, Browns, Giants, Pats, Jags, Raiders. So do we think the Titans are going to take a quarterback?
I don't know. They don't know what they're going to do. The Titans could trade down.
Yeah. I think of those teams, all those teams right there, I think I'm most confident that the Browns take a quarterback.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed anywhere. He could sign with the Browns right now.
Do you think he would take the Browns over the Steelers?
I would.
Well, he knows he probably can get more money out of the Browns than he would with the Steelers.
Well, he knows he can probably run things more at the Browns than he can at the Steelers.
Well, yeah, because we know that front office isn't really running. It's a donkey show up there.
Yeah. Steelers aren't going to let him do anything. You think the Titans are taking Ward?
Really? If I'm the Titans, I think I'm taking Carter.
What?
Or, if I'm feeling really spicy, Travis Hunter.
Right? Well, if I'm the Titans, I'm not taking Travis Hunter. He can't do anything for them.
What do you mean? A cornerback and a
The
wide
Giants
receiver?
are going to take Travis Hunter.
You think?
Mm-hmm. If he's still there at 3. Yeah, I see the Titans did make a major move. Plus, Will Levis wasn't their first round pick either. He was just kind of there for them when they picked him. His name don't even sound fun. Will Levis. Don't even sound like a starting quarterback name. Get him out.
Hey, have you seen that commercial he was doing where he's like doing all that mayonnaise stuff?
No.
Weirdo.
He did his mayonnaise commercial.
Yeah.
That is. Nope. Nope. Not with it. All right.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say at this point that Will Levis is on the path for being a bust.
Yeah. All right. We gotta pull
you think we held him on
runoff ramp. Yeah, we gotta pull on that runoff ramp. Slow down. Nah, so yeah, Wilson goes to New York on a 1 year contract. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out and what happens.
I think that just to wrap it up on a bow for me, I think for the Giants, I think you still draft a quarterback, bring a quarterback in, and for fantasy purposes, I want them to start Jameis Winston. For fantasy, for NFL, probably you win more games with Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
But for us and what we're covering here, I prefer them to start Jameis Winston with Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors. Yeah, I'd rather see Jameis Winston with Malik Neighbors for sure.
But now the New York Giants are just the Pittsburgh Steelers of last year, and they're just going to be like, who's going to be our quarterback? Who's going to be throwing the ball?
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. It's so stupid.
Because I think they both have the same level of offensive line, too. I think either one of them is going to get killed.
And Russ is just never going to be as mobile as he was before, especially
he won't be as dangerous.
Line. No. He better hope that Wolverine blood gets him through it.
He'll be very limited.
Limited. Yeah, they're getting Travis Hunter. Hey, who are you talking
think
about?
So? I can't wait because I know in our group chats, I'm just going to be looking for what everyone's thinking as the draft's going on.
Yeah. Who are you talking about, Mike? The Giants?
Yeah, the Giants. Yeah.
Travis Hunter's going number 3 if he doesn't go number 1. Yeah. The Browns could take Travis Hunter too, though. If they don't take
that would be a very Browns thing to do.
Yeah. To take Travis Hunter. Who is their quarterback?
Dude, it's Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, see, so they don't need a quarterback. They got a first round pick.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles last year.
Yeah, he got a ring, man.
Yeah.
Like Nick Foles.
I know. He had to
work for the
stay out
Jags.
the Super Bowl. He got to let Jalen Hurts start.
Yeah, work for the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened. They did that.
Wow, isn't that weird? You got Kenny Pickett getting a Super Bowl ring before Josh Allen.
Wow.
And Lamar Jackson.
Oh wow. Let's take a promo break. When we come back, we'll get to this tier 1 of.
We'll finally get to it, guys. Thanks for sticking with us and enjoy the promo.
Heck yeah. It's been real. You guys are watching Fantasy Reports on Shady Sports Network. I'm the bus driver, Cedric. Got my co-pilot, Justin, over there, and we're rocking with it. On some fantasy news, I got Justin's top 25 way too early wide receiver tier. So we'll take a promo. Be right back. Hit that like button, guys. Please hit that share button. Tell a homie. Let them know to come and watch us. We'll be right back.
Good luck, everyone here. Oh my Lord, who is this? Joe Burrow! Joe Burrow! AFC North smoked it right here, baby. Fanatics, authenticated Joe Burrow on the speed, incredible hit, going to Alpha Wolf. Congratulations, Alpha.
Oh yeah, I guess the Browns do still got Watson. Forget that they had him. Yeah, so they did kind of dig themselves.
And then they doubled down by having Myles Garrett, so now they're in financial hell for another 7 years.
It's stupid. They did restructure Deshaun's contract though, so they will have it out soon.
He's engaged now, I think, or getting married, one of the two.
Yeah, that's cool. I wonder what his bachelor party is gonna look like. All right, guys. So we got this bus.
Justin Tucker's invited.
Definitely, Justin Tucker's.
He's the best man at that wedding.
And then they got freaking. What's the kicker from Kansas City?
Oh, Harrison Butker.
Harrison Butker's cooking for everyone. Hey guys, but yeah, we're doing Justin's way too early top 25 wide receiver list, and we've been working it down. We went through and did tier 3, his tier. So we did tiers instead of just number ranking. So we started with his tier 3 receiver, Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Cortland Sutton, Jameson Williams, Devonta Smith, George Pickens, Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers. So all good, solid, really wide receiver 1Bs of their teams.
That you could probably get in the end of the tier or end of round 2, beginning of round 3, mid round 3 in your drafts. That's the idea behind tier 3.
There we go. And then we move over and we went through tier 2. So Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Lag McConkey, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Mike Evans, Scary Terry, and Garrett Wilson, which I spelled wrong. It's Wilson, not Wylon.
Oh, I just saw that now. You almost got away with it the whole show, man.
I know, right? I saw it earlier. I didn't want to say that. I was going to say something, so it's on wax, so I know I saw it.
It's all good. And then with these guys, these are end of the first round and the start to middle of the second round where you can invest in these guys confidently and roll them out as your wide receiver ones if you choose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now these guys in tier 1, I know we've put it off for so long, and I appreciate you guys sticking with us and ready. This might be a hot topic or a conversational piece for you guys where I have these tier 1 players at. But yeah, these are the first round. Gotta grab them if you're gonna go with the wide receiver strategy in your drafts. And these guys are gonna be your alphas. These guys are gonna be your wide receiver room carriers to get you to that championship.
There we go. You heard them, the top dogs, the guys that you better draft them if you see them, basically.
If you're not going running back or quarterback in the first, you know what I mean? Like if you're going wide receiver, these are the guys in round 1 that you're going after.
Yes, get these guys. These are the guys you want on your team. So here we go, drum roll.
Will these be the guys that Zed's taking in his first round, seeing as he likes to take wide receivers early? We'll find out. We'll see.
There we go.
He'll let us know. He'll let me know.
Tier 1, Justin's tier 1 wide receivers. Jamar Chase at number 1, of course. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. Number 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Number 4, Puka Nacua. Number 5, CeeDee Lamb. Number 6, Malik Neighbors. Number 7, Brian Thomas Jr. And number 8, Nico Collins. Man, what a list. These guys are some heavy hitters. Tell us about them, Justin.
Some new faces entering tier 1, some old vets hanging out with tier 1 still. Before we get into this, if you guys, from the tiers I've been doing, if there's any wide receivers that I did not have on the list that you thought that I should have on the list, please feel free to let me know in the chat and we can converse about it and discuss it and see what we come up with. But these tier 1 guys, I mean, they speak for themselves. Their numbers, their production, their fantasy resume. These guys are the ones that are on your championship teams. They're the ones that are, bringing it to those big games and winning in those tight matchups. I mean, with the additions of Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., I think they take a step up. They advance their careers and their fantasy prowess. I think they're going to have outstanding alpha wide receiver 1 numbers this year. I know there's question marks for those two at their quarterback position, like how they're going to get it to them, but they shown last year. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. was succeeding with freaking Mac Jones throwing it to him, and Malik Neighbors was doing his thing with whatever quarterback the Giants were throwing at him. So
yeah.
I think they're almost in the tier of quarterback proof in their very young careers, which is good to see. And if you invested in them heavily last year in Dynasty, you're getting heavily, paid off and getting compensation for that. And going into your drafts for this season, if you want to be so bold and you taking one of those two guys towards the mid or end of your first round, I don't hate it. I think it'll be just fine. But the other guys, though, your CDs, your Nikos, your Puka, Sun God, Jefferson, and Chase, they are what they are. You know what you're going to get out of them. And it's just more semantics and perspective and what you feel you like better. I mean, there's question marks at the quarterback position for Justin Jefferson. You don't know if JJ is going to be the guy, if he's going to do his thing. I mean, regardless, Justin Jefferson throughout his career has been doing it for whatever quarterback they've been throwing at him, and he's been doing it, making quarterbacks look good, like with Sam Darnold, and then now Sam Darnold's getting the bag elsewhere. So, the Puka Nacua and Matt Stafford connection is a lot similar to the Goff Amon-Ra connection. They're just steady 20-point guys where you can throw in your lineups and you can just, be confident that they're going to carry your team to victory. CeeDee Lamb is the one question mark on this one. I just don't, like I was saying earlier, I just don't know. I think he's going to be elite. He's going to be good, yes. And that's as far as, the Cowboys offense takes them. I think they're going to be playing behind it a lot of games, and that's going to require them to throw the ball a lot more. And he has less competition in that wide receiver room. He's just got a bunch of guys underneath him, and he's going to be relied upon to score a lot of points again in fantasy and be one of those top 4 or 5 elite pass catchers for fantasy football. And then Nico, I know he had injuries last year. He had his struggles, but I think year 3 of CJ Stroud, that connection is going to be better. And I think that vaulted him personally for me out of tier 2 into tier 1. I think, with the news that Stephon Diggs is out of town, Tank Dell is going to be hurt for, if not all, the majority of the season. And they got Christian Kirk and Dalton Schultz, which are great. They're good supplemental pieces, but they're not alphas in that offense. And CJ Stroud will rely heavily upon Nico Collins, I feel, in fantasy football, which could lead to tier 1 elite wide receiver 1 numbers, in my opinion.
Man, I see what you mean. And I kind of CeeDee Lamb be the only question mark for sure. Nico Collins, my dude. Wait till he comes back.
Yeah, I thought you might like that one. I thought you'd get
it
a
was
little
number
respect
1
from
until he
that
got
pick.
hurt for sure.
There.
Yeah, I'd put him over even with those guys. I'd probably put him over Puka. But I'm not saying
I've seen Michael's comments here. I think there is a very strong argument. I am still down on the Cowboys, and I didn't think about this one thoroughly, but I wouldn't mind putting McConkey over CeeDee Lamb, to be honest, in tier 1.
I wouldn't mind that either. That's what I'm saying. So I'd probably move Nico up, probably move Lad up. Brian Thomas, really, he did prove he was quarterback proof, but we'll see.
I think what kept CeeDee in tier 1 over Lad McConkey is going into 2025, the ceiling for CeeDee is higher than of Lad, just because the Chargers under Jim Harbaugh are going to be such run heavy offenses that he's gonna maybe have Herbert throw 20, 25 times a game. We saw that trend a lot last season. But here's the thing, Ladd McConkey was taking full advantage of all the opportunities coming his way. He was a catch magnet. So even though his ceiling might not be as high as CD, I think he will be, this might be a hot take for you, Seb, but I think Ladd McConkey season long will be a lot more consistent in point output than CD Lamb this year for fantasy football.
What? Well, I don't think that's a hot take.
Oh, okay.
I feel like
Ladd
McConkey was more consistent than CD Lamb last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know. I rock with.
And this is a way too early rankings. I don't know if we had a plan, but if we were to revisit this later on, close to preseason ending, the regular season starting, maybe we have a different shakeup here though. But because it's always fun to go to revisit all these wide receiver or all these way too early rankings that we do at the beginning of the year and reflect on it during the summer, and then coming back to reevaluate where our perspectives are based on if injuries pop up. Knock on wood, that don't happen, but things can change between now and the start of the season.
Yeah, no, definitely, and especially with the draft coming up, and there's still off-season programs.
And you never know; these teams could be adding wide receivers to their teams, which could give them competition for targets.
Yeah, that is true.
But I'm seeing now he traded Brian Thomas last year. Oh, hey, in a league, I was in the same boat. I traded Brian Thomas Jr., but it happens. You just got to take that one on the chin. It really sucks. That one's a kick in the gut, but we live and we learn.
Mm-hmm. You live in. Well, who knew, right? You saw all the controversy and turmoil from Trevor Lawrence. You didn't think Brian Thomas would be.
But hey, you got Duval in town. You never know what will happen with Trevor Lawrence and whatnot this year.
Duval. Duval. I don't even remember how you said it.
Yeah, that was hilarious when it happened.
Yeah, see, so that wasn't a bad trade. And you get a second rounder this year.
Yeah.
So you can come back and pick up a running back because there's hella running backs in the draft.
I'd say if you can go and get Trey Harris in the second round for
go and get
make up for it.
Go and get oh man, who's the receiver I was big on? I can't even remember his name.
Matthew Golden, was it?
No, not Golden. The one that made the promise on the 4-4 on the 4.
Oh, Isaiah Bond.
Yeah,
that's what I took in our last mock draft too.
Yeah. So
there
guys,
you go, guys. That's my top 25. I mean, yeah, I'll post it up on the social medias after this, and you can let me know what you think. We can elaborate on it, and I like to see your own top 25 lists and whatnot on the socials. It'll be fun to compare and contrast to, and talk football and roster constructions as far as wide receivers go.
Was it a good list? Is there anyone you'd add? Anyone you take out? Anyone you feel is too high, too low? Let us know what you think, guys. We'd love to hear about it. We do have it up on the X pages and the Facebook groups as well.
Is there anyone said that missed the list that you felt should have been on it?
Anyone that missed the list that I felt should have been on it?
I have one that I feel bad about. I just couldn't fit him on there just based off this production last season.
Who was that?
Marvin Harrison Jr. I wanted to fit him on the list, but he
got to show me something, man. It's to show me something.
That's the thing. Is he has to show me. I didn't see anything last year that told me that he could be a wide receiver one. I mean, at the NFL level, yes, he's a wide receiver one. He's going to be a wide receiver one, but for fantasy purposes, like the other 25 guys I listed, I didn't see enough to tell me based off what they did that he could, break into this list and be a top 25 wide receiver. I think I have him at 26. Like he's right there. I just need to see something this year. I'm with you, Seth. I need to see something.
Yeah, and there's going to be a new layer of receivers coming in too. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
And a very
I
good
don't know
wide
yet.
receiver class, so he could get lost in the sauce real quick if it doesn't turn around fast for him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So,
But now you turning this bus around, you're taking a left turn and switch it over.
swerve it up. We're gonna go ahead, wind it down, man. Start slowing it down, hitting the exits, getting close to it. But before we get there, there's about 9 games left in the NBA. So figure we could go ahead and go over those rankings really quick. Just touching the rankings and just, before we get out of here, we got to keep up with our Wolves and the Nuggets and let everybody know where they stand. So
Do you have an updated conference standings?
I do. So Western Conference updated standings with about 10 games left.
Wolves at
1 for some teams. Wolves at the 1 play-in spot.
Nice.
No,
Wait,
actually the 2 play-in spot. Oh man. So we got,
dude, it's rough.
Hey, all you gotta do is get to the dance.
I feel if they miss the playoffs this year, they gotta go big and trade for Kevin Durant this offseason.
Yeah, we'll see if they
blow it up. Trust your young guys. Get rid of your couple of your veterans and get a superstar to pair next to. Ant wants to play with them.
That's what I've been telling the Nuggets forever, but they don't.
I'm sure Joker has too. He's just sitting on the bench like, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
They don't listen. That's why Joker just sits out all these games, but hopefully he comes back. Night, Mike. Thanks for joining us, bro. We're winding down as well, too. Same timeline getting there. Yeah, I mean, and hopefully he comes back in this homestand. We can get him back this week or this weekend and get that going. But go through and quickly, I guess before we go through the standings, I did ask you earlier over the weekend, I guess. What do you think is more important going into the playoffs? Do you care about the seeding or do you care about the matchups?
In general, I care about the matchups because this time of the year, there's 2 types of teams. The teams that are trying to scramble and get in, and the teams that are just set in their, where they're at the standings and realizing, okay, we can't go up, we can't go down. This is where we're going to be at. Let's just see where the rest of the standings shake out and see who we're going to play. And it's not the end all be all, but the parameter of, okay, if I'm the Nuggets, I played well against this team and this team during the season. I'd rather see them in the first round. I don't know what those teams are because I haven't been really following the Nuggets as much as I've been following the Wolves, but like which teams I would like to see, go up against me if I were the Nuggets, and what, a couple teams I would want to be avoiding. I know one team I would want to be avoiding if I were the Nuggets in the first round is the Timberwolves because they're going to drag you out. They might not win the series. I admit that. Like, this is not the team that they're going to be, challenging for a championship for, and if not winning it. I don't see it happening. But I do see this though. If the Wolves get into the playoffs, and this is why I think that matchups matter, who you're playing more than where you're playing, is that they're going to drag you out. It's going to be a 5-6 game series for sure. If not 7 games. And in those games, you're going to get their best shot. They might lose by 2 or 4, a couple possessions, but you're never going to blow them out. They're going to wear you guys down. You're going to have to play through injuries and play hard because you're going to get their best shot every game of the series. And that's the type of team that you're going up against in the first round of playoffs that really scares you because it could take a little bit of gas and wind out of your sails getting onto that next round if you so make it. Like if you're the Nuggets, like that a little bit of that edge you got going into the playoffs is going to be a little bit worn down after playing a team like the Golden State Warriors or the Timberwolves, one of those lower down teams in the standings that you're going to get their best shot and it's going to suck, but what it will do is polish your team in the next round if you make it. If you're the Nuggets, make it. You can withstand that storm. You can get over that hump and just, be more confident in yourselves as a team of getting into the championship game and winning it all.
Right.
So I wouldn't say the Wolves are that much of a spoiler as much of like they're a hard out if they make the playoffs.
They are a tough team to play against, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the play-in. On the fan, they said it. They're talking. They're like, they would rather see the Boston Celtics in Game 7 in Boston didn't play
Really?
the Timberwolves in the playoffs.
That's funny because up here, you know what they're saying? We'll take
What's that?
anybody. We'll play anybody. Give us the Warriors. Give us the Lakers. Give us the Thunder. We don't care because we're gonna take your ass to the 7th game, and we're gonna beat you. We're gonna break you down. But I think that's the type of like last year was the cute, feel good story. They made it as far as they did. They had the season they did. This year, it's about standing on identity and standing on business of like, okay, reality is we have a hard hill to climb, but we're gonna give it the best shot we can.
There you go. We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, we got about
I don't see the Nuggets moving up or down in the standings. I think they're pretty much.
I think they're at 3. They're gonna stay at 3. That's
yeah. So that being said, who would you like to play at 3?
Well, that being said, I mean at 3, I think we would be playing whoever wins out of the Kings and Suns. No, actually no. We'd be playing would it be the Grizzlies? No, the Warriors? I think we'd be playing the Warriors.
If the season ended today.
If the season ended today, we'd be playing the Warriors.
Okay.
And I'm good with that matchup. For sure.
Yeah, because I don't think they have any bigs to match up to Joker. I mean, they have Draymond that can play defensive well against him, but
hey, I mean, Draymond's looking like defensive player of the year right now, man. He's holding his own.
That's what I'm saying. That's their best shot. That's their best guy they have on defense, and I think Joker can handle him
for 7 games, for 5 games,
for 7 games. I think he
can. Even Draymond ain't.
I just like the parameter all my series if it gets to 7. Like if it comes down to like last game, last quarter, last play, I think the Nuggets can handle the Warriors in 7 games.
I'm not worried about that.
If you guys do play in first round, I think you guys take it in 4 games.
Yeah, we just don't have. I mean, Russell Westbrook is
that's but I can see it. I can see it going to 7 if your guards don't freaking show up and give some supplemental.
Murray doesn't show up. Yeah, he looked good the other night, but we need consistency, man. So we'll see what happens. I
like what I saw Peyton Watson the other night.
I know he had career high points. Yeah, it's good to see him getting his points and stuff, getting up there, and that's what we need. That's what we need to start seeing those players. We haven't really seen our players have a chance to gel, and I guess every team, you go through injuries and stuff, you don't see the chance. So we'll see what happens.
Are you more of a matchup guy or a seeding guy? What do you like more?
I think it's about matchup. It really is because it's the NBA, man. All these guys get played big contracts, and when you got a 7-game series, best of 7, there's 4 chances to come and give it your best shot. And, any team can throw haymakers, man. Any team come out.
You need playoff Russ. You need playoff Jamal.
Yeah, exactly. So you need that mentality. And, Russ is ready to get a ring, man. He's been going too long trying to get a ring. So I hope he comes out and ready. He's ready.
I did go back and watch highlights from last week. DeAndre Jordan had himself a game, man.
DeAndre Jordan had
damn.
I think he has 36 rebounds in the past 2 games.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, man. He's looking the past 2 games, not even just the past game. The past 2 games, he's looking really official, like he's getting into playoff form. So I mean,
Coach Jordan is really.
Yeah, I know we joke about it, but when it comes down to it, and then Zeke Naji, man. So. It's really interesting to see what the Broncos are putting together, but it's I don't know, man. It's a team we can't.
I think it's finals or bust for the Nuggets.
It's not finals or bust. I think it's Western Conference Finals or bust. I think if we don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, no, I don't think it's really finals or bust. I think it's at least Western. Well, as far as if you mean bust by busting up,
but it's like your season, your season expectations. You were expecting to get to the finals.
I think it's Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
At least Western Conference Finals. At least for me.
Okay.
At least for me, it's Western Conference Finals. What are your expectations for the Timberwolves?
Mine is, well, if they don't get to the Western Conference Finals from a year ago, I think it's a bust. You set that bar, and that's where the bar is at. You need you get over that hump, and for them, that's getting out of the Western Conference Finals. That's been their bugaboo since their existence as a team. Like that's the bar, that's the mountaintop, and they need to get past that, get over it. They were close last year, and it fell apart. And that should be I think as a coach, like to the player, I think that's the expectation should be like, hey, we got that close, we should get there, and that's what they should strive for. And reality is this year, I don't think they're going to get that close. I think maybe they win the play-in game and they take a first round series close, but and it comes mostly down to coaching. I just think the roster management has been poor all season long. They can't figure out who they want to play and when, and it's backfired on them tremendously. Like, yeah, there's been injuries with their veteran players, but it's still though, like, you should have a concept and a game plan for like management and like lineup rotation, and it just hasn't. It's like 1 minute the rookies are like a sensation and they're contributing and being supplemental pieces to that lineup, and then the next minute when things are back fully healthy, they're just ghosts and they're gone. Yeah. It's like it ruins the flow and the chemistry of a team. It really breaks confidence too. Like, think about it. If you're like one of these year 1, year 2 players looking to break through into a lineup, and you're just sitting there like getting all these minutes, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away. It's like, am I the problem, or like what thought things were good here? And kind of makes you create some questions. I mean, I don't think the locker room for the Wolves is any bit of a problem. It's just their biggest bugaboo, their Achilles heel this year has been lineup rotation, and it really cost them some games. Like, for instance, like with Ant getting all these technical fouls and being suspended a game or two, those 2 games he missed for being suspended, the Wolves lost. And look at where they're at in the standings. If they had Ant and they won those 2 games, they're not, on the edge as much. It's just, but that's the Wolves, that's their season in a nutshell. It's like they, lose close games by a bucket or 2, and then they get absolutely punked by teams they should have won.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the bright side, you guys do have games against, Phoenix,
which they own. The Phoenix calls them daddy.
Yeah. See, so that should help you in the standings. Looks like before we come back on Sunday, so just the next week you play Phoenix.
Is it possible they catch the Clippers, or is that kind of a done deal there at the 7?
It looks like you guys are. Well, you're like 1 game behind the Clippers, but you're kind of tied with them.
Yeah, like they have the tiebreaker. I thought.
I think they have the tiebreaker over you. So, I mean, I don't know what their schedule looks like and against what's your schedule. Let's see what their schedule looks like.
Because I don't think they play them anymore remainder of the season. I think that whole series is done and in stone.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys don't play anymore. They play Golden State and Sacramento, San Antonio. So they do have some Western games. They have back-to-back against Mavericks with, and then New Orleans. So those games could determine where they fall or where they lie, but I don't know how likely it is that you guys will catch them.
I think at this point,
you probably have to win out. Yeah, I think you probably have to win out, And then you guys play some tough games coming up yourself, So, even though it's
where do you see the Wolves? Do you think they make it get in, or do you think they miss the playoffs?
Well, you play Denver once, so that's gonna be a loss, right? So,
how
you
dare
play Memphis? You got Memphis, the Jazz, Milwaukee. There's some tough games coming up, man.
But I like that though, because the tougher matchups they play better, and the weaker matchups it's like they play down to their competition and get pumped.
So when you play better competition, it helps out, right? So I don't know, man. We'll see. I think they're gonna get in though. I think they'll get in, especially like when they got to play in. You play like Golden State and Sacramento and teams like that.
But Sacramento's getting hot. Like that that trade they made, it's
Yeah.
it's paying off.
Levine and DeRozan, man, they're solid. It's
Yeah.
crazy. They just flipped from the East to the West. I don't think I've ever seen like two players go from the same team.
Yeah,
to
that's
another.
wild.
Like two big name players. So that's a big trade. Just completely flipped it over.
For
But
the
yeah,
sake
that's
of
all I have.
conversation though, real quick. If the Wolves don't make the playoffs, what's the one thing you think they need to prioritize and address the offseason to get
Figuring
back
out
into
who they're going to keep in their
year?
center. Figuring out they're
Mhm.
going to use what's the other center's name? Gobert and the other guy.
Gobert, Reed,
and
and
Reed.
Randall.
Like in the same situation from last year with Karl Anthony Towns. Nothing changed except they got rid of Karl Anthony Towns. They need to figure out what they're doing with their big man and just kind of, if you're gonna have Anthony Edwards as the focal point, then kind of build a team around him. You can't have him as a focal point and still trying to build a team around your big guys. I don't know.
If it were a possibility, would you move guys like Randall and Gobert and some of their younger bigs, get up out of those contracts and try to bring in a superstar like Kevin Durant to pair with Anthony Edwards?
I definitely would, because they think about it. You get somebody beside Anthony Edwards that's a star as well too. Somebody that he respects, someone that he's.
I mean, granted, you'll lose in the defensive side of the ball. You won't have that, rim presence.
No one cares about defense when you can score, man.
That's where I'm at. It's a good point. Like when people talk about the defensive player of the year and shit, like what does that mean when like teams are putting up like 140 points a game?
You can still draft some good bigs. There's still some good bigs, and look at March Madness right now. There's some great bigs holding it down right now. So you can always bring in defense, but scoring, if you can get instant scoring and right off the bat, like you want to get that in basketball. I don't know, in my opinion. Like
we're on the same page there. I mean, there's murmurs up here about that's what they're clamoring from. There's other people that are still in the, oh my god, we lost Cat. Like they can't get rid of that trade, and then there's other people that are just like, well, we just need to run it back next year. Right. But I'm in the camp of like you need to bring in like a Kevin Durant to go with Ant.
Well, that's how I feel about the Nuggets too. You need a superstar to go on beside your superstar and take over right now. Like, you already got, when you're looking for your superstar, then it's okay to be like, okay, well, we're gonna develop this guy, or we got this guy, we're gonna bring these guys in or whatnot. But once you have that one superstar, you got to go and you got to be aggressive. You got to go all in, because these other teams have stars, but in too, they have superstars in their own too. So you got to go in and you got to add more firepower once you know that you have that proven firepower, right? You got to go and just add to it and get it right now while you can, because they won't always be there. They get tired of losing. They don't want to. And then nowadays you see the players can make a demand and be traded within the next week. So you don't want that to happen, man. You want to keep it going. So if you got the opportunity to add to it, I think you kind of got to maybe lose assets for a year or two and add. You can get a superstar right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But, it's just, I think for the Nuggets, though, too, kind of the same mentality as the Wolves, like you said, bringing a superstar. Like, I think if the Phoenix are breaking things up, I don't think it would hurt if they brought in Devin Booker to replace a Jamal Murray and a Russ to go next to Joker.
Right. I'd like to see something like that.
Because you know what you're getting out of Russ and Jamal, and it's like, is it that far off of getting Devin Booker? If it were a possibility?
Maybe not, depending on what they'd give up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I doubt they do something like that, though. They don't tend to make. Well, we'll see next year. Let's see what the front office looks like and see how it goes from there.
Do you think it'll be a shakeup in the offseason if it falls apart? Let's say,
definitely.
Hypothetically speaking, the Nuggets go one and done, they get knocked out of the first round. Do you think there's a shakeup in the front office and coaching, or do you think
there's a shakeup in the front office? There's gonna be coaching in the front office, the GM, and all those guys down there will be for sure a shakeup if they lose in the first round.
I personally would be more, shook if the Nuggets get knocked out of the first round than the Wolves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, they're not getting knocked. They better not get knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, that's why I just said hypothetical. If it were to happen, I don't. They can't, right? Said they can't.
They won't. But that's all I got for tonight, man.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us through this football and basketball talk. We appreciate you. If you could please like, share, subscribe, follow us, and put us on your socials. Get us out there. We greatly appreciate that. It helps us grow, helps us get to all you guys and all of your guys' guys and all your guys' guys. And we able to have more opportunities to expand and do more stuff with our shows on our network. And it is greatly, greatly appreciated and thanked here if you could do that. Also, if you're not done yet, you'd like to keep going, we have our socials. Go into our Discord server, go in our channels. We got all kinds of stuff for you, different leagues, different sports, all kinds of things. And so many people there that are willing to talk with you and chat it up and really keep the conversation going for whatever sport or league or whatever you may go on. We cover all kinds of things here on the network. And then if you want more specifically of us, throw up your team rosters in your fantasy leagues, if they're dynasty or what have you. And regardless, we'll talk about trades, roster acquisitions, potential draft picks, throw it up on our Facebook plays at the Fantasy Reports, and we'll gladly, chat it up with you. And if you just want to have a more, personal conversation and whatnot, I'm always available on Discord and Sleeper at Teshera. And if you want to get into our football league or basketball league, you can hit me up there or said, and we get you invited in, and we're glad to have you. Other than that, I think, again, thanks for tuning in with us tonight. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday night, and hope you all have a good night. What do you think, Sed?
Yes, sir. I'm good with that, man. He's going to say it best. Guys, have a good night. See you on Tuesday. We'll be going through our division rankings. So come and join us on Sunday. Sorry, not Tuesday. On Sunday, we'll have our division rankings.
Yes.
So come back and see us. We'll see you this weekend, guys. If nothing else.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer.